Josh Peck and Drake Bell have sat down together for a two-part podcast in which they talk about all of the drama from their past. Josh is addressing his wedding, why Dan Schneider was there. They are getting into it all, and this has been a huge deal for fans to watch them come together because there has been so much drama over the years. So we're going to break down what was said in this podcast and how we got to this point. We're deep diving into the roller coaster relationship between Drake Bell and Josh Peck, the iconic duo from Nickelodeon's Drake and Josh, as the two of them just reunited on Josh's Good Guys podcast and addressed a lot of their past. For those who might need a refresher, Drake and Josh was a staple of the mid-2000s Nickelodeon. Airing from 2004 to 2007, the show followed two stepbrothers as they navigated teenage life and brotherhood. Their on-screen chemistry was undeniable, leading many fans to believe that they were just as close off-screen. However, as the series concluded, Drake and Josh seemed to drift apart. While both pursued their individual careers, Drake delving into music and Josh exploring acting and content creation, and fans really noticed that the two weren't as close as they hoped when Drake was seemingly missing from Josh's wedding. In 2017, when Josh got married, Drake actually took to Twitter to express his disappointment with not getting an invite. He tweeted, "True colors have come out today. Message is loud and clear. Ties are officially cut. I'll miss you, brother." When you're not invited to the wedding, the message is clear. Josh later addressed the situation, explaining that he and Drake hadn't been close in contact for years, and he didn't feel it was necessary to invite him. Despite the public fallout, the two did manage to come together and reunite and seemed to mend over the drama back in 2017. They both attended the VMAs and they shared a photo on Instagram where the two of them were embracing, and this is from Josh's Instagram of the two of them. Though this ended up sparking some drama because in 2022, Josh spoke out about the whole wedding drama on the BFFs podcast, saying why he didn't invite Drake and how it turned into this whole drama on his wedding day.
Yeah.
Are you guys like not friends?
Not really. No.
What
There was
happened?
like
Drake
there was
Bell
like
went down a bad path.
there was a long story with Drake. I feel like what you didn't invite him to your wedding, right? That's what
I
happened.
didn't invite him to my wedding, and the internet went crazy.
At the same time, Josh also told the story of how Drake and him later reconnected, but Drake's wife at the time had come out online to say that that was not how things went down and things were very different in real life, and that Josh had just run up on Drake with the camera and it wasn't as sweet as it seemed. And it was almost sounding like the only reason why Josh did this was because he knew it would be great for content for his YouTube channel to see him and Drake getting along again. Now, as time has passed, things have been pretty quiet, except last year, after the release of the Quiet on Set docuseries, a lot of people were looking at Josh. The series sat down with several child stars, parents of child stars, and former Nickelodeon employees as they all recalled experiences that they had and they witnessed during their time at the network. Drake Bell revealed on Quiet on Set that he was taken advantage of by a trusted adult, Brian Peck, when he was a child actor, and that it happened while he was working at Nickelodeon. He explained that the trauma deeply impacted him, and this was the first time that he was publicly sharing his truth. As a result of this series coming out, people were looking towards a ton of child stars not in the docuseries, wondering if they had anything to say about some of the things that had been brought to light, especially after former Nickelodeon producer Dan Schneider put out a video addressing the series, seemingly defending his name, but also admitting some inappropriate behaviors and apologizing. One person who was heavily harassed by the public at the time of the release was Josh Peck, because not only was he on Nickelodeon, but he had also invited Dan to his wedding, something that people didn't love knowing, especially when Drake and Miranda were left off the invites and this person who everyone is talking about as some creep was invited to his wedding. They're like, okay, what's the deal with you, Josh? And a lot of people were like, and what do you have to say for yourself after seeing this documentary? At the time that the series came out, Josh released a statement saying, "I finished the Quiet on Set documentary and took a few days to process it. I reached out to Drake privately, but want to give my support for the survivors who were brave enough to share their stories of emotional and physical on Nickelodeon sets with the world. Children should be protected. Reliving this publicly is incredibly difficult, but I hope it can bring healing for the victims and their families as well as necessary change to our industry." Prior to this, Drake had actually come out to defend Josh against those coming at him for asking for a statement, and did say that Josh had reached out to him privately.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to clear something up. I've noticed a lot of comments on some of Josh's TikToks and some of his posts, and I just want to let you guys know that this is really, processing this and going through this is a really emotional time, and a lot of it's very, very difficult. So not everything is put out to the public, but I just want you guys to know that he has reached out to me, and it's been very sensitive, but he has reached out to talk with me and help me work through this, and has been really, really great. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, and to take it a little easy on him.
And now fast forward to 2025, and Drake and Josh have once again captured headlines. Drake appeared on Josh's Good Guys podcast for a 2-part episode where they dived into past misunderstandings, drama, personal struggles, and the complexities of their friendship. They talked about how they met up for lunch prior to recording the podcast, and you could just tell how much it meant to Drake to meet up with Josh after all these years, because things have been rocky, and though they weren't necessarily on bad terms, they weren't close by any means and hadn't seen each other since Josh learned of what happened in the Quiet on Set docuseries.
It was a short lunch. He was with the kids that day, and I was driving home, and I was like, oh, I forgot to tell him this. Oh, I forgot to tell him this. Oh, I wanted to tell him about this. And then I was like, oh, I'll just text him about it. I'm like, no. It was so funny. I'm like, no, don't text him. That'll bother him. Like, wait till he texts you. Then cool. Yeah, I was like, just wait till I was like, wait till he texts you. Like, don't look like too excited. You know?
Josh also talked about his wedding and explained why Drake and Miranda were left off the invites, and explained that it was his mother's friendship with Dan Schneider's wife that was the reason why Dan had come to the wedding.
I remember that. I remember thinking, and to end it with the wedding, which I think blew everything up, but also was the first step in us coming back together, was, I think about my wedding, and I go like, and the only person from the show that was there was Dan, because my mom was friends with his wife.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. And no, but it's not like, it's not an indictment of one particular person. It was that I love you. I love Miranda. There's so many people that I probably would now at 38 wanted there. But at 30, I just wanted to leave it all behind.
Yep.
Because it felt like it didn't serve me anymore.
Yeah.
And the realization I had was when, you wrote that stuff during my wedding about like our friendship and all these things and our love and our history. I think you were living in the world of where our relationship should have been.
Right.
I was too much living in the past of when our relationship wasn't great.
Yeah.
And it was really somewhere in the middle.
They also talked a lot about how, at the time, a lot of child stars, it was kind of like you couldn't grow up. If you were on one of these shows, you were kind of stuck as a child star, and to try and go out there and be a singer or go out there and be an actor and be taken seriously, you had to do some Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball type stuff to stop being seen as this child star, because tons of people would look at these child stars and never really unsee them as a child. And so they were in this mindset of wanting to leave behind their childhood and, memories of Drake and Josh. And that was kind of like their reasoning as to why they weren't exactly super close after the show was over, because in their minds, like, leaving behind being a child star was kind of the move if you were going to go and have a career after you were on a show like that. But they both agreed in the end that they should have been closer after the show, but they were just in their heads about everything.
But now I can see, with all this time and everything that's been revealed, of like, we should have been
think
closer.
that there was a lot of times when, like when we were hanging out at Michael's a lot, and we were just, and like there was, I always felt like, what, like, man, we're all hanging, like, we got the same, like, we should be closer. And it's funny that you say, like, I always used to just see you as, like, I just thought you were so cool. Like, I thought you were the cool. It's like, dude, I honestly, like, I I would think the same thing. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm not cool enough to like hang out with Josh. Like, oh no, he's, you know, I'm not funny enough. I'm not this. No, he thinks I'm this, and like we were doing the same shit when we really should have just been like, bro, want to go grab some pizza and like play some video games, you know?
Yeah. Crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Wow.
Huh?
And honestly, this whole moment feels like the closure so many people needed. Drake and Josh sitting down face to face after all of the years of distance, misunderstandings, public drama. It feels like it wasn't just healing for them, but for a lot of people who grew up watching their show and have wanted them to just get along all these years later. And seeing them laugh again and do some of the old characters and talk through some of the hard stuff, you could tell it just meant a lot to viewers as they left so many comments talking about how they loved seeing them together, just making these old jokes. I will say though that I do think another reason why Josh might have been really apprehensive of being friendly with Drake in any capacity at one point also might have had to do with the fact that that might have gotten him in some trouble, because Drake has faced legal trouble for his actions over the years. But you know, them being able to find closure somehow, some way after Drake spoke out last year seems for the best. But let me know what you guys think about all of this, the two of them coming together after all this time, what they talked about. Let me know all your thoughts on this in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.